Hello, friends, and welcome to the Cinemondo podcast with Kathy, Mark, and Burk, talking about movies and movie trailers. And we have a bunch of like a handful of people that we really always love their movies.
Yeah.
Anytime these people put out a movie, we know we're going to love it. And one of those people is who?
Christopher Nolan.
He's got Oppenheimer coming out on July 21st, and I mean, just check out the cast before we get into the movie. Cillian Murphy plays Oppenheimer, Robert Downey Jr., Florence Pugh, Matt Damon, Rami Malek, Jack Quaid, Emily Blunt, Josh Hartnett, Kenneth Branagh, on and on and on. You know, it's just like a crazy cast. And he can get that because he's Casey Affleck, Gary Oldman. I mean, it keeps going on and on. Alex Wolff, from Hereditary.
She also would like to weigh in on Christopher Nolan. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we did
Christopher Nolan.
He's so good, just consistently great.
We did the teaser reaction a little while back, and now the official last trailer has come out for this movie that's coming out in a couple of months. So we're going to see more of the film and see more of those actors. And obviously, it's a very sobering, sad, chapter of world history. But I think it's interesting that he chose this. I wonder why he came up with this story. Was it that he likes Cillian Murphy? He goes, "Hey, you look like Robert Oppenheimer. We'll make a movie." Or is it something? It's probably the opposite. But
or they were, they were probably shooting one of his other films. Cillian Murphy's been in just about all of his movies, and somebody probably said, Cillian Murphy does a great Oppenheimer. You should hear it. It's like, Cillian, come over here, do the Oppenheimer. And he was like, "Oh my God, we have to make a movie about that."
Yeah.
But no, actually, Oppenheimer is a fascinating character. I've read some books about him. I mean, obviously, a super brilliant mind that like Einstein-ish on that level, But there's this tainted thing. It's a classic story of a really creative person whose creation is a horrific nightmare for everybody who lives on this planet,
Yeah.
And he knew it. I am become death. His idea that he is. I mean, I'm sure the movie will go into his feelings about it. That's probably what attracted Nolan to it. Is this person who is so brilliant and so compassionate and all that. Like Einstein was super compassionate, but and Richard Feynman, these people that worked on these projects, and then what they helped create, they basically had to, or else the Nazis were going to do it first.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
well, Nolan had this project in production for a while, and then he was pissed when HBO and Paramount, when they released everything on streaming. He didn't like that. So when they released one of his, I think it was Insomnia, when they released that on
or Tenet.
HBO, he got very mad, and so because they've done a lot of his movies,
right?
Warner Bros. Has, so he approached other studios with this movie. So I feel like they've all wanted to work with him. I think they thought, okay, maybe Oppenheimer isn't our first choice for a film, but we gotta get Nolan. We're gonna do it. So they did. So I think who picked this up? Universal picked it up.
Right.
So because his movies are very expensive. So we'll do it. But I think that's interesting when you think somebody like Christopher Nolan, who has all this power as a filmmaker, and he still has to wheel and deal. He still has to go around shopping around a movie and, try and get someone to make it. But he did, and here we are. Yeah. So this must be a passion project, because he did not want it to be mishandled by Warner Brothers. So he was taking it around. He even went to Apple.
I'm interested in, because usually his movies, whether it's Dunkirk or Tenet or Memento, they're not done chronologically. There's an interesting way I'm wondering if he's going to play this kind of straight, or will there be some sort of wrinkle to the way he tells the story? Because he usually does that. So it'd be interesting to see. You can't tell that from the trailer, but
no,
he loves complicated, twisting stories that you can't really get them the first time you watch it.
Inception, of course.
Inception and Tenet, of course. Tenet, people are still, I still have conversations with people about Tenet, and they're like, yeah, but what about that part? And
that movie blew my mind. I had
Yeah.
fun with that one. I was like, it felt like your brain was sort of twisting inside your head. It was like, I don't
Disorienting.
understand. It was very, yeah.
And Memento, you know.
I don't know how you even write that. Like, how
I
do you
know. It's
How do
impossible.
you
Is there like a
Yeah.
big board that you have to keep track of everything? But this is like
Yes.
his 6th movie with
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy too. So
Yeah.
he
No
loves this
kidding.
actor.
Well,
And
let's check it out.
But his first leading role in a film, he's like had to really
that's
wait a long time.
He's always good, though. He's always good.
He's always good.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like Mark said, he really looks like Robert Oppenheimer.
I know
And
they
he's
said when
such
they
a
were
good actor.
when they were auditioning for roles for this film, a lot of actors didn't even know what role they were getting. They just came in for auditions, but no one told them what they were actually doing.
Would you ask a Christopher Nolan film? It's like, okay, I'm
Oh.
in, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, if I have to
Right.
play a house cat, sure, I'll do
Yeah,
it.
it's like, hey, we're auditioning. We're not telling you who the character is, but come on in. Let's talk. We'll be like,
Yeah.
okay. So they found out later, I guess, when they made the film, and they just took it. So that's why
Wow.
this thing is
Yeah.
stacked with actors.
Stacked with huge. Yeah, it's
Right.
Wow.
incredible. So I can't wait for it. So, but let's take a
Yeah.
look at the trailer that
All
just
right.
came out a few days ago.
I wish
Are
it
we
was a
ready?
red band, but we got a green band.
Yeah.
All right, we ready?
Yeah. Okay.
This is a national emergency.
Detonator charged.
We're in a race against the Nazis. And I know what it means if the Nazis have a bomb.
We have a 12-month head start.
18.
How could you possibly know that?
We've got one hope. All America's industrial might and scientific innovation connected here. A secret laboratory. Keep everyone there until it's done.
Let's go recruit some scientists.
Build a town, build it fast. If we don't let scientists bring their families, we'll never get the best.
Why would we go to the middle of nowhere for who knows how long?
Why? Why? How about because this is the most important thing to ever happen in the history of the world?
You're the great improviser, but this you can't do in your head.
Are we saying there's a chance that when we push that button, we destroy the world?
Chances are near zero.
Near zero.
What do you want from theory alone?
0 would be nice.
This is a matter of life and death. But I can perform this miracle.
World War II would be over. Our boys would come home.
That's happening, isn't it?
The world will remember this day. Our work here will ensure a peace mankind has never seen. Until somebody builds a bigger one.
You are the man who gave them the power to destroy themselves. And the world is not prepared.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Truman needs to know what's next.
2,
What's next?
1.
That's
Yikes.
terrifying. Oh,
Yeah.
That's a trailer. Holy cow.
Yeah.
That I see that, and I just feel like it's the end of the world. And that was a
Yeah.
while ago. And they're talking about the end of the world, but it just
Before
feels
we
like,
were born, you know.
and that
Right.
great
Yeah.
line where the guy's like, what if they make a bigger bomb? Like we have the biggest bomb right now, but
Yeah, we're safe until somebody else gets
and we may
the
not
bigger
be the
one.
ones. Ooh.
There's a couple of chilling images in there that at first don't really seem like much, but when you think about it, there's there's one brief shot where there's a piece of paper, like a map of cities and stuff, and somebody has a compass and he's drawing a radius around us, and that's like what I assume is a blast radius. Or a fallout radius or something. And you always see those in books. Like, remember when I was a kid seeing the books that showed a picture of, New York or Los Angeles or something. And with this amount of a bomb, here's the radius of the destruction, and here's the bigger radius for a bigger bomb. And
oh my God,
that was always so terrifying. It's like, wow, when I was a kid, not in a place that's going to likely be a target, but still you think about it and
who knows? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I think, the trailer itself is interesting because it's like about this project, how to build this thing, so it's that story, and all the stuff that goes along with it, which is very compelling. I mean, it's a compelling story, but I love the characters coming in, building this town, bringing the family in. They're in the middle of nowhere, New Mexico. It's just like so compelling. It's just a compelling trailer, and
secret base and not knowing if it's going to work or not. Like if the one scene where he says, now if we set this thing off there, you say that there is a chance that the whole world, because there was a time when people thought that a nuclear chain reaction like that might not end.
It could go on forever.
It would just keep destroying the atmosphere, and it would completely just like you let off an atomic bomb and it just keeps going all over the world until all the oxygen is gone and the entire world has been transformed. And it was like, well, there's a 1% chance that could happen.
Oh my God. Yeah. Let's make it 0. Well, it's interesting. The editor, anyway. I know the editor for this film is Jennifer Lame, and she did Tenet. So that person is clearly a genius because she was able to edit Tenet. I watched that. I would not be able to make sense of that movie. I mean, she's
the music is by Ludwig Göransson, who I really like his stuff. He he also did Mandalorian, the theme for that. So I just think I think that'll add something to it. So the gravitas,
the music we heard in the trailer, I would say so, because that was just like you could just feel the emotions, like
because he usually uses Hans Zimmer, but he didn't for this one. So I think it's interesting. So it just looks really, I mean, is that a typical summer blockbuster popcorn movie? But I think it'll be I think because it's Christopher Nolan, it's going to get a lot of, attention, and will be.
I mean, it looks like a big screen movie to me. It just has that prestige. It has the actors. I mean, they're definitely billing it and marketing it like you need to go to a theater to see this, and just seeing his face, he's so haunted. Oh gosh, such great acting.
And his vocal inflections, he's doing, an accent, and that's always difficult, I would imagine, keeping a consistent accent that's not your own all the way through a film, and also to match the character. I mean, we've all seen footage of Oppenheimer. We know what he looks like, we know what he sounds like, and all that kind of stuff. And Cillian Murphy, I never thought about it before, but wow, he looks just like him, and another thing that I've noticed, this is a weird little technical wardrobe thing, but sometimes you see old films. I mean, sometimes you see films about the old times, a period film, where people are wearing the old period clothing and the fedoras, the hats, and you see all the guys wearing hats in here. But one problem that I've always noticed is that in the actual old days, like watch some old film noir movies and old 40s films, people's hats fit really well. The hats fit their heads perfectly because they wore hats all day. They knew what their hat size was. They knew how to wear them, and they knew how to wear those clothes. And one thing that I noticed about this trailer is it seems like they went to some effort to make sure, and this sounds dumb, but the hats fit.
Make sure the hats fit.
Yeah.
They look good on them. They look good. It looks like
it looks
everything
good.
looks a little big though. Like I love how he got this little skinny neck and his clothes all seem a little big and hanging on him. Like he looks so
what
gaunt.
he looked like. He was this sort of gaunt guy, and his eyes, and just a really interesting character. Hopefully this will get some people interested in him as a person and that project as a thing. And don't forget that this exists, and don't let it just become part of the background noise. It's like, this is a danger. It's a horrible thing that we can do to ourselves.
It's a very horrible thing we can do. Here, I have a picture of the real Oppenheimer. Hold on.
Yeah.
He got the hat. He got the haunted eyes.
And if you look at, I said if you look at him later, this might be, I don't know when that's from. Maybe there.
There's only one I could find with him in a hat.
Yeah, there's one. There's a YouTube video of him talking, and it's towards the end of his life. It's black and white, and he's really gaunt. Like at the end of his life, he was really haunted by what he did. He actually escaped. He went to St. John, the Virgin Islands. I went there on my honeymoon, and we went to Oppenheimer Beach. This is where he lived the last years of his life. He found this beautiful place and said, "I'm just going to be here by myself, and just try to escape from what happened." So totally.
But I inflicted upon the world, because if he didn't do it, someone else would do it. So I'll do it. It's like,
well, you got to beat the. I mean, it is one of those horrible dilemmas where it's like we have to do this because if we don't, Hitler is. I mean, who worse to have a world-killing bomb than somebody who wants to kill the world?
Yeah, but I feel like if once you create it, it then gets recreated, and then until that's done, they have to recreate it. So I feel like we might have been able to put this off a little longer if he hadn't done that. But
luckily the Nazis were mostly obliterated, except for what's left over here in America.
Except for the new ones. Forgot about the old ones.
Anyway, it looks really like compelling. I can't wait to see it. I will see that in IMAX for sure when that comes out in July. So it just looks like another great job by Nolan, who really cares about his films. It's obvious.
Yep.
Great. All right, everybody. We know it's going to be good. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.